Welcome back to another episode of Against the Grain Living with Jeremy Moore. I stitched 2 Fridays together for this episode. Hope you enjoy it. There's a moose just in there. It's hard to see, but he's cracking all sorts of trees over. I've been trying to get close to him here for a little bit. Got fresh poops everywhere, fresh bedded down areas. A lot of moose in the area right now. We're walking in a different way. It's very overgrown, but it's dry. No beaver swamps. Just watched a black bear run right across in front of me there. Little guy. We'll just let him get on his way a little bit before we carry on. But wolf poop, bear poop, moose poop. It's fairly open here, but a lot of this walk-in's been shoulder high weeds like that. I'm just up on a bald rock now out of it, but the arms are getting chewed up a little bit. It's warm for this time of year, so I'm in a t-shirt, trying to not sweat so much. We've been at this walk for a while. It's an old logging trail, but very grown in. I'm just trying to find a more efficient way to come into the new build site regularly. The beavers changing that water system, the ecosystem so much, it's not going to be reliable for me to come in quickly and effectively next year, because I'll be doing it regularly, trying to get this thing weathered in before winter. So I'm putting the effort in now to try to find a better way in. Because I'd rather not be wasting the time hiking in or fighting in with some material, and be able to get in efficiently so I can concentrate on the build. I mean, this is dry, but it dead ends here. So now I got some marking tape in my pocket, and I got to try to navigate a way over, and if I like it, cut that virgin trail, and then next year, hopefully, if I can just keep this pounded down, this stuff, it'll be easier walking in. Anyway, we're just planning on, like, it's already 20 after 11, and I've been up and at it since 6:30 this morning. So she's yeah, this is the clearing here where they stopped with the bigger equipment, and the old skidding trails are all grown in. You can barely see them in the wintertime, but nothing's been in here in years. Looks like there used to be a hunting camp for a little bit, but anyway, we're gonna just aim through that stuff over there. So we'll see. The hot one. I think it's supposed to be 27. What is it? September 17th. But if it's not too steep, no rock cliffs, and no swamps, stuff like that, it might be worth the extra effort to get a few buddies together this winter, this fall, next spring really, and open up this trail. And I think it's been like 2.5 kilometers of those weeds. I mean, they can be trampled down with stuff. I don't have a 4-wheeler or anything, but we're gonna be busting out new toy in there today. I'll show you that here in a bit, but I'm gonna carry on. So right now they're head-high weeds, but like I said, if we can establish a trail, it won't be this bad next year, and I'll be doing it a lot more regular. This hasn't been stomped on other than by moose and bear and whatever else in here. I can follow the odd deer trail, moose trail, which makes it a little easier. They like to go the path of least resistance as well. But we got the marking tape out so we can get our way back out here and wish me luck. It's like another 2 kilometers bushwhacking. Well, we made it in. It's been 2 hours since I left the truck. I think it was 4.15 kilometers of bushwhacking. 60-pound pack. I'm pretty well whooped. I gotta do the same trek on the way out. So I'm probably just gonna tidy up these few trees. This is the new build site. Tidy this stuff up in here so that I can guarantee that I get these foundation screws in before frost. And then I can always cut trail through the winter. Anyway, that way I came in was a bust. I mean, I think 2.5 kilometers would work, but I'm gonna try walking out a little different direction. Anyway, maybe I can get it connected to that 2.5K that's already good. That wouldn't take very much to get make that the trail. But I think I'm only about a kilometer left to cut in this direction towards the trapper's cabin. It's just not very convenient to get into this build site frequently and regularly next year for building. Anyway, we got new toy here. Been after a battery one. It's the M18 Milwaukee with a 12 amp hour battery. I mainly wanted that for some of that base plate that goes on my bar for working with the square timbers instead of the saw sitting there idling while you're flipping a beam over or whatever else and marking stuff out. It's just sitting there quiet, not using anything. Anyway, I'm gonna have a bite to eat and some water. I'll let you watch me just cut these few things down. I'm probably gonna stitch these next 3 Fridays together and hopefully not make too long a video. But it's all the same stuff, just site prep here and map and trail out. I gotta take down that dead one with the fun with a 16-inch bar. And then there's 3 or 4 little guys in here, but I'm gonna buck them up too and stack it and then pack up and get out of here. And I'll catch a little footage of this and we'll see you next week. Well, I definitely use it in direct as a direct replacement from the MS-170. Anything up to 6 inches, it's like awesome. Silent. Squeeze the trigger, she goes. This bigger stuff here, though, I don't know what that is across there, 20, 22 inches, something like that. I'm probably not even going to buck this up. It's obviously not what the saw is meant for. I got the 441 for that, with a bigger bar, bigger chain. Anyway, we're just gonna, I got the little snips, they were in my pocket. I'm just gonna get rid of the rest of this stuff, right where the exact footprint of the cabin is. There was one more maple I was gonna take down. It's about 6 inches. But I actually, I have about 1.5 foot outside of my footprint. So I think I'm gonna leave it. If I need to take it down, I will. It's not too big and it's leaning the other way, so it'll be easy to fell if I have to. This thing was dead. I didn't want it coming down on the cabin. All the other trees look pretty healthy. I'm trying to keep as many as I can. But, yeah. We'll see you what's next week? Next Friday? Yeah, next Friday I'll be back in. I think I'm just going to concentrate on the last kilometer over to the trapper's cabin. And so that at least I have one path that's here. I have a situation, there's a really steep section that I might have to winch everything up. That's why I've been putting the effort into finding a different way in. But if that's what I have to do, I'll do it. Because I like this spot. We're going to make it happen. Some people call me crazy, but I enjoy this. So anyway, we'll see you next week. I'll probably put this Friday, next Friday together. Wasn't much anything today. And you don't need to see me looping this stuff. So I'll catch you next week. Take care. Well, let's bring you up to speed. It's 10 after 11 now. I left the house this morning in the dark, got to the boat launch around sunrise, got in the canoe and going. It's been a very soggy week. Most water we've seen all year, which helped me get down the river to the trapper's cabin. I actually only had to couple pelvic thrusts over one of the beaver dams, or little butt scooches, but didn't even have to get out even with a couple 100 pounds of gear here. It's about 10 degrees this morning. It hasn't rained on me yet, but it's gray and windy. I had quite the headwind paddling on the 3 lakes, but that was my quickest trip in with a load in the canoe. The current down the river when I got off the lakes was actually quite fun and fast. So I got about 210 pounds of gear I've hiked up to the build site. So I think I'm going to call this camp Hilltop Hollow. We're almost at the highest elevation of my property, other than just sitting in this little hollow up here. Yeah, I weighed everything last night. I had about 210 pounds to get in here, so I split it up, and roughly 370 pound loads, and I just got here with the 3rd load. That pack and a couple of the screw piles. Had this pack, and I had a hockey bag with rebar in it for the 3rd backpack. This had all the yokes for the screw piles, but that was 4.4K. Depending on which way I take, because I have a couple trails marked to get up here, it's 0.8 kilometers to 1 kilometer, depending on which way I go. So on my way back empty, I was marking trail and throwing sticks and stuff, because I didn't have any tools with me out, and snapping stuff off, trying to open it up. Anyway, we're gonna get I brought the laser, tape measure, a bunch of stuff. We're gonna get all the rebar in, and the store only had 12 piles. So we'll get those screwed in. So that's what I don't know, I got a little 2.5 foot 2x4 and an 8 footer. We're screwing them in. I bought a cheap shovel and rake to leave here, and a little collapsible fan rake. So we're just gonna get at this today. Pretty crappy day for filming, so might just give you updates throughout the day. It's very windy. Anyway, it's gonna be a long day. I've been at this already for a lot of hours. We'll get back at it here. Well, it's 2:15. I got 24 pieces of rebar attempted to go in. You can see the 3rd row here. All the blue rebar is still sticking up. I think the deepest I got it was the 2nd one in. A couple feet, but most of them just want to go down a foot, 1.5 feet. So I'm gonna have to come up with something different on that side, or for that beam. I'm getting pretty dizzy doing these. Right now I'm just gonna start them all, take a break from turning in a circle. So they just got a thread on them. They're hollow. Just go over top of your rebar. And start threading. So yeah, I did a bit of digging in this corner, and that spot was 1.5 feet, and then I hit solid rock. So I don't know if I'm gonna dig every 4 feet. So nine holes, and pin it to the rock. I'll have to decide. The reason I chose these, they're only 9 pounds a piece, and this being this remote, my only way in here with equipment will be the snowmobile. So I can only carry so much weight. So there's a few of them I might have to unthread out and shift over a little bit, but it's got a beam running the whole way. I'll just get a few turns on all of these, and maybe I'll set up a time lapse and you can watch me get busy. But the laser worked really good. So there's a lot of messing around with that. But now I have a square footprint. At least the stakes are pounded in, marking where I gotta dig, and I can keep everything square, and the 3 rows in line so the beam sits on it. And you can see she's a slow go. The ground's super saturated with water too, because poured for 3 days, 1.5 inches, 2 days in a row, I guess it was. Doesn't make it the best ground for these screws to go in. Anyway, might throw you up on the rock and you can watch a time lapse from up there. Well, it's 3:20 now, and I think I left the boat launch 7:30, something like that. So she's been a good long day. I'm dizzy. I had to spin the other way a few times, straighten myself out. So you're gonna have to do something different on that whole east side. I'm shy 6 screw piles, so I've stole a bunch of the rebar from that 3rd beam and pounded. I set the laser back up and I pounded in some alternate. I was trying to go every 4 feet where an upright post would be. Looks like there's 4, maybe 5 that I'm gonna have to pull up and shift down the beam one way or the other and try it again. The rebar went in further, so I must have just got into a rock that the plate wouldn't get through, so the screw plate at the bottom. So I've put some extra rebars on either side while I had the laser here, because I don't think I'll bring it back up next Thursday and Friday. I have 2 days up here. I'll spend the night in the trapper's cabin. But I'm just tired of spinning. Some of them are still going down, but run out of steam today. I still got a kilometer back to the canoe, and then canoe out and drive home. So I had to pack up everything up here. I think they'd actually screw better if there wasn't so much water. The ground's so soft that the threads aren't really grabbing anything as if it was dry, so that's why I left some of them. They were still screwing down, but I think I'm gonna let it dry out a little, hopefully. But we're gonna get out of here. So unfortunately, it's gonna be something drastically different for that 3rd beam, and that's gonna have to wait till next spring when I can haul in materials. There's absolutely no way I can carry blocks up here, bags of gravel or anything like that. That's why I was trying these. They say they hold 5,000 pounds, but I was putting them every 4 feet just because they are pretty light duty. I still might put a crossbar between them and use some tensile wire that you use on fences and stuff like that. And I'll tie this whole row together and then a crisscross to the middle row. Sturdy them all up once I get them down. And then I'll be able to get this fall, maybe. I doubt I'm gonna carry in 16-foot material. So this winter anyway, these will be done. I'll be able to build these 2 beams. I'm gonna have them sitting in the yokes and everything level, and then all the material I bring in I can set up on the beams and tarp it this winter, because it's all coming in my snowmobile. And then I can haul in everything I'll need for all those footings. But anyway, it started to rain here now, so I'm gonna get this thing away and boogie on out of here. See you next week. It's gonna be a double header, so I should have a decent video between Thursday and Friday, as long as I can get all the materials required. And again, I gotta hand bomb them up here, so I won't be able to get everything. 6 more of these guys, and then some 2x4s maybe, and some tensile, high tensile wire. That stuff's not light either. Spool of that. Anyway, we'll see what we can do. And there's so much water that the water came up all the holes. There is good drainage here. It is a valley that just keeps running. Just I don't know, a couple hundred yards down this trough. It actually turns into a bit of a stream. It's all just from the springs and the runoff up here on the hill. Anyway. See you next week. Little bonus clip. Forgot that I made 3 trips in. Didn't want to do that on the way out, so we made 1. So we got the hockey bag handles on, and we got 3 bags in 1, and some of the tools. Does the trick. Not bad. Some people get outdoor gear for outdoors, but I use hockey equipment. Used it all last winter too.